Now, many of you will know that EU Commission intends on imposing tariff of up to 36% onto all the Chinese EV car producers. This is something that we've been seeing, and China and together with the EU Commission, they've been talking or in talks, but it appears that there's no conclusion that has been taken yet. But one of the things that we are seeing from some of the automakers in Europe, they've been trying to also give advice or trying to say to the EU Commission that they must not be aggressive. They should not increase the tariffs on all the Chinese EV makers, because when China retaliates, it's going to be bad, even much worse than those Europe car producers that are selling most of their cars in China. I mean, companies like BMW, Mercedes, they are selling over 70,000 or plus minus 70,000 vehicles on a month to month just in China alone, and of which if China retaliates, it will bring more harm. You and me can agree that it will bring more harm onto those automakers or Europe automakers than the kind of impact that this tariff in Europe will bring to EV car producers like NIO. You will know that NIO in Europe, they are not even selling 2,000 in a month. The kind of sales that they are generating in Europe alone, I think it is averaging this year, the average has been 400, 500 on a month to month, which shows you that even if they increase tariffs, it won't hurt much. But on the other side, Germany, car producers like your BMW, Mercedes, they are selling like an average of 70,000 on a month to month, and if China retaliates, it will hurt them more. And now the reason why I'm telling you this is that today we read an article that Germany, together with Spain, they are pleading with the EU Commission to reconsider on the tariff increase, which is something that shows you that even these countries in Europe, they are starting to see the kind of hurt, the kind of harm that they will get if China retaliates, or if the EU Commission continues with the implementing of up to 36% of tariff onto all Chinese EV cars which export their cars from China into Europe. This is something that is not good. But again, to get to see that Spain, Germany, they are pleading with the EU Commission, I mean, it shows you of how serious this is. I mean, right now we are seeing not only car brands, car producers in Europe fighting or trying to make the EU Commission not to increase this tariff, but now countries, some of the countries, they have started or they are starting to plead with the EU Commission not to increase tariff, because that, according to Spain, it will bring another massive trade war, which those countries don't need. I mean, there have been some chaos in Europe because of the Russia-Ukraine war, and of course it took some time for the European countries to recover from that, which seeing this again, it won't help those guys at all. Whereas on the other side, NIO, it's selling tons and tons of cars in their home, or 95% of their sales on a month to month comes from their home country, and that is in China, which therefore the tariff increase won't bring much hurt into companies like NIO, because they are not selling that much. So yeah, I just thought I'd just give you this quick update. I mean, I think the EU Commission, it's high time that they just accept and maybe reconsider and readjust the tariff increase onto the Chinese EV cars, because if they continue with this, then China will be left with no choice but to hit back or retaliate, which will not be good onto most of the EU or all of the EU countries, except Norway, because Norway, you'll know that from the initial stages of this tariff increase, they say no ways, we are not participating on that, we are not coming. Yesterday we were talking about Turkey, that also withdrew their 40% tariff increase, which they had planned or were planning to impose onto the Chinese EV producers. But now on the 10th of July, they pulled back and said, no, you know what, we are not going to do this. But the European Commission, on the other hand, we are seeing them wanting to impose these tariffs. I mean, Canada, just 2 weeks ago we read that they are imposing 100% onto the Chinese EV makers, which is not good. But again, How many cars is NIO? NIO is not even present in Canada. Some of these Chinese EV cars are not that present in Canada, and therefore it won't bring much harm. But should China retaliate, I tell you, it will hurt more Canada than China, which is something that I think they need to get this at the back of their mind before they conclude this. I mean, you know that the Chinese EV makers sat down, had a meeting, and wrote to Chinese government to say that this is how they would want China to retaliate when it comes to the European Commission tariff increase, and that the deal was, or what they had written there was, China needs to put additional tariff not on the EV cars that are coming from Europe, but rather on the gas or engine cars, which that I think from the Chinese automakers, it was very strategic, because they know very well that the reason why brands like Mercedes, BMW are selling over 70,000 on a month to month, it's simply because they are generating those kind of sales on their gas or engine cars, and therefore if they cut that, they know that those brands can't compete with them on the fast growing EV industry. They have taken, or they would have had them so bad in a way that for them to catch up, it will just be game over for them, which will hurt their revenue so bad. So yeah, man, I'm happy about this, to see countries coming or European countries coming to the EU Commission to plead with them not to increase or not to be aggressive when it comes to this tariff increase, which is something that I think they should listen, they should take it into cognizance, because if they don't, China retaliates, then it won't be good for Europe. Tell me what you think about this. I think, like I said, for a company or EV car producer like NIO, this does not have much impact, because Europe, like I said, NIO is selling 400, 500 on a month to month on average, which shows you that even with the tariff increase, they won't get hurt by much, because over 95% of their sales, they are generating it in China. Whilst some of these German car producers, most of the sales that they're generating on a month to month is coming from China, and if China retaliates, then it's the end of the story for these Europe car producers or German car producers, which won't be good, right? So just thought I'd just give you this quick update. Tell me what you think about this whole story. Do your own due diligence before you buy stocks like NIO, because this stock is quite volatile, but we know one thing, and that is blue sky is coming. Long term will win, will definitely be rewarded, and the share price will continue recovering, heading back towards the $66.99, which we saw back in 2021. We are still going to get there, and those that are persevering will definitely be rewarded with time. Otherwise, that's all from me. I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey, and God bless you all.